Welcome. Okay, welcome. I am your Happy Healer. We are coming on right now for President Keith Landy. You can find the website at www.happyhealer. I say that quite often for the website because it's easy to spell, it's easy to remember. HappyHealerforPresident.com. So you go there, you can get caught up on all the latest events in the campaign. You can find out what the next move is for us and also about all of my positions as your people's candidate. All right, moving right along. Something I want to touch on here. And this is when earlier today I just seen some of this information on Mayor Pete, and I thought you guys might be interested in this. I certainly am. I am, because he's one of my contenders, and I really want to see what these guys are made of. Specifically speaking, I would like to see how they respond to certain situations, because I'm always out there and I'm always giving my all, and just they're not nearly as transparent as me. So but just take a look here at what is really how these guys handle things under pressure, and what they do and how they don't respond. Like Donald Trump is not well, all right, I'm not going to be too hard on him right now because we're not talking about him, but the point is, I mean, this Iran situation, I feel like it could be a lot better, even though I would have also pulled out of that deal, and I feel like it was not a great deal, to be honest. But aside from that, and I have my reasons for that, that's because you can't have Iran with a nuclear weapon, and that's what that was, like a permission slip almost. It just said for an X amount of years we won't have a nuclear Iran, but anybody who knows about politics, the situation in the world, and the real threats that exist out there, they study a little bit of, theology, they understand where people are coming from, they're not going to say that this is a good idea. So who are the people that are saying this is a good idea? Clearly it must be the people who don't know. Wait a second then. You mean to tell me people who don't have any clue of what they're talking about are passionately telling the rest of us what to do? No wonder why we're in the situation we are then. All right, so let's play this.
You were experiencing it on the ground. Was there anything that was said by Mayor Pete, which they refer to him as, that seemed to resonate, that seemed like it may have been a step forward?
In terms of how this audience was feeling, I'm not sure that they heard.
Okay, so I don't know at what point, because this is an 8-minute clip. I'm going to try and get to the point here where they're actually going over, let's see. I mean, they got to learn to just, let's see.
Here in the community who came insensitive. You've got members of the department who they say use excessive
I don't think
force.
This is going to cover it. All right, there's another confrontation with a protester, and let's hear this one.
So I want to play for each of you what we just happened earlier today with the Mayor Pete Buttigieg. He was supposed to attend in the fish fry, but he canceled those plans to return home for a march related to the deadly shooting of a black man by a white police officer in South Bend. This is actually what you're looking at here is live, but I want to play for you what just happened moments ago, an exchange he had with community members.
To us today, in front of all these cameras, that Black Lives Matter.
Did you ask me if Black Lives Matter?
Yes,
Of course, Black Lives Matter.
He fell right into that. I sensed that. As soon as she said, "Do Black Lives Matter?" I would have said, "Why are you asking me a question like that?" That's exactly what I would have said. Everybody is going through such hard times right now. And it's not about just, what I would do is I would console her. I would correct her. And I would say, "Man, forget about, do I love Black lives? Of course I do. Do you love God? because somebody who loves God is definitely going to love all of God's creation. So the very notion that we just have to focus on any one person is bad. Now, you want to bring up a situation of justice, that's something we have to get on board with. But we're uniting a country, and this continued division, trust me, you think, here's what you think. You think it's the way to get to what you want. You think nail harder, yell harder, and fight harder. The fight is good as far as if you're going in the right direction, bad if you're not. And fight against every thing somebody says. If there's somebody if you're a black person and there's an officer involved shooting, even it doesn't matter if there's a little bit of arbitrary aspect to what really happened. Maybe the officer was in danger, whatever the case. There is still a rush for people to say, because the need for change is so great, because where we are right now is so bad, we need to hurry up and we'll make a big deal about everything. And what they're doing is they're desensitizing people. You're not helping the situation. It's almost like what Jussie Smollett did to gay people and also a lot of people who are victims, right? It's no different. So we can't do that. Plus, I will add to that. We're talking about solving a lot of problems. People are agitated because we should be in the new world. It's against our very nature right now to be in this world. It just feels so negative. It feels so wrong. And it's like a nuclear explosion. You can't have a system like this. It won't last. Trust me, it won't last. That's why I said on the other day, I said, very simple. You need your Happy Healer to run for president. You summon me. That's why I'm here. And it's okay. If you don't want me, then, we just won't get to the better life. And quite frankly, we might all die in a civil war. But the great news is we'll do it together. Yeah, that's why I tell people like her, stop inciting hate. That's what you're doing. There is look, you're a freedom fighter. That's what you want to consider yourself. And you're turning yourself into a terrorist because you don't even realize that you're sending terror into the hearts of people who are not looking for conflict. You don't even realize that it's not helping your cause, but you come out there so strong. You want to get strong about something? Follow the Happy Healer. Get strong about the things I'm talking about, and then you watch the people follow up behind you because they're going to hear you, and they're going to say, wow, this is the kind of truth we've all needed, while Mayor Pete, just so passive and standing there and apologizing. Is that the Democratic Party? Well, that's not the Democratic Party I plan on leading. We'll never get to the promised land like that. No sirree. So watch Mayor Pete be the passive guy he is. Doesn't really stand very good for gay people either. No, you need a very strong, careful stewardship of our lives and strong leader for the people. By the way, a few weeks ago, I had a homeless. It was a black family because I live in right now a black neighborhood. It doesn't matter. I love everybody. And the fact of the matter is, that's just why I'm here. It's just because it's nearby places I love and people are great. And I've been here for a while. And anyway, so I've had a black family that was staying with me. And these guys were rowdy and street people, actually, because they got kicked out of their home. But, you got to do loving things. And so that's what I do, Mayor Pete. I don't think you can compete with that, man. So when I put my arms around my brethren and my fellow family and humanity, I realize exactly who they are. And I try and teach them. I try and raise their hopes and give them some sort of token of information that they can grow from. Mayor Pete, you're a good guy. You're passive. And maybe I could find some clerical work for you, my friend. Why are you running for president? And why is a lot of people running for president? You're not talking about this stuff. And the Happy Healer can't get the time of day when it comes to attention because the agenda is always going to go after the money. It's going to go against the love. It's going to go towards the greed. And it leaves the American people behind. And the best in our stock, in our human stock, they're becoming drug addicts and they're dying from the pain because this crap that many people can live with and just love greed, the best of us can't. I have a hard time doing it, to be honest. It's hard. My whole family was poor, and then I'm working hard and I'm making a business, and they're all still poor. And if I make a little money, I got to give it to them because they're still so poor. And this is the reality of our world. Where's the American dream in that? We need to take care of people. I lost my mother, in the year 2012, not long ago. She died, and she was for so long without health care. I could still have her today had she had health care. And no, we don't take care of our people. That's the problem. And so she didn't get health care until by the time she got it, she had already developed so many problems, from phlebitis to sugar diabetes, and she had heart condition and multiple sclerosis, and you just name it, my mother was dealing with it. She had several strokes. And, we don't cover our people. How is this even conscionable? You want to get mad, man. What I would say is, I admire your getting upset and yelling. That's what I would say is Mayor Pete. But why aren't you yelling about the health care? Why are you yelling about things that are just, all right. You're the boss today. What are you going to do about that? Do you not want lawmen? Are we supposed to have a completely lawless society? Okay, so mistakes are going to happen. If you want to make this world better, stop living in fake lies. That's what the Happy Healer would tell you. And so that then we can get on to truth and then say, okay, so then you want a better world. We can't talk about the nuances of trying to keep a greedy world working, because that's what we have. We're working in such a flawed system. Capitalism itself is flawed. It promotes greed. And you're trying to get to the utopian world, it sounds like. No racism, no, none of this stuff. You're not ever going to get there, folks. Not in this world. Wake up. All you can do is destroy what we have. But what you can do is we together can make a brave step into the new world. We can do it with passion. We can get great people like this citizen right here who's so eager to speak out. And I never blame the great citizen. You are the constituents. You are the ones angry. I am angry too. They're confusing us. They're just feeding us garbage and dirt and crap and treating us like mushrooms and feeding us crap and leaving us out in the weather. And I don't think that is how we are going to accept that kind of treatment anymore. Because when I see people that are agitated, often people like her, it's because they are playing with our minds. For one thing, they're playing with our minds. And they want to, when you're triggered, they can control you. Make no mistake about it. I might have to start using those tactics. They can't control me. I don't get triggered. But the truth is, we have to win for the people. And apparently, the people who are not working for the people are triggering you, and it's working for them. It's working for them. So if the people's candidate is trying to do real work for you, who curses him as he's doing it, and all I am is a normal guy with courage and love, and you have your condescending candidate that you're so in love with, how shameful. You'll be sorry for that eventually. Don't you worry. I promise. And so we just have to grow up, and we have to start doing things like, you know what? I'm going to treat people with love. Why? Because for so long I've done everything else and it didn't work. I'm depressed. I got angry. I got more angry. It didn't work. I had to decide, was I going to kill myself or was I going to actually live in this lifetime? And let me tell you, folks do make that decision, don't they? Inside their own heads. That's how awful this world is to people. And that's what we need to change. And they want to pretend nothing's wrong. They're living in a fake world. They're living in a fake world. And they like their fake world. And they like that they can get everybody else riled up and that they can trigger you and control you. I couldn't even. How can you possibly be an American in this country and treat America like that? Remember, American justice, American love, American family. We are a melting pot of everybody. We got away from the love, guys. We got away from the love and we got away from God. What did you expect? What did you expect? You got away from love and you got away from God. Neither was your fault. I know it. Neither was your fault, but you got away from both. And that's unacceptable, man. You got to get back. And then you'll see the improvement all around us. Remember, in the old days, we had worser times but nicer people. Think about that. Worser times but nicer people. We're talking when I was a kid. And, coming up, worser times, nicer people. And the reason is because right now everybody is just going in complete insanity with the political situation. For one thing, they are in this weird place where they feel like they're in limbo. They're not at home in their own mind. And I feel the same way in many ways, although in my own mind I am. But I was not at one point. That was a transformation of the Happy Healer for me. It's a very serious thing. People like to think it's a joke or something. It's not a joke. I take it very seriously. And you should take it very seriously. Well, that is if you want truth and you want a life that's worth living and, those little things. Because you're never going to have that if you're clinging on, grasping to those straws that they give us. And they're just so inadequate. They don't contain any information. They don't contain any sustenance. What are you chasing? It's all fake. You're still starving. You're not thriving. Many of you are not thriving. I know that. It's not actually very common for a lot of people to be doing super well in a high hog, It's not. That's not a very common thing. People live often to their means, and they're a little naive. They're very ignorant. They really actually think that there's some system that these people are knowing what they're doing. They are more clueless than us, than the people at the bottom. The people at the top are. And how many times do you think about that? You don't. That's the thing. And we're all guilty of it. I was guilty of it at one point. You just think and have faith that everything's going to be okay because you got those people up there, but they don't know what they're doing. They don't care, and they're not working after your interests when they do know what they're doing for the things they do know. And because they care so little, they don't even have a hope to get it right. And if you ever have a travesty in your life, they don't have any real care. You wouldn't even bother calling them. Let me tell you, if the Happy Healer was in the White House, I guarantee you guys would feel the hope more to say, maybe my president cares enough that if I have a problem, I ought to call. And I ought to try and get this thing solved. And you better believe it, because that's what humanity is. Now, maybe I can't resolve 300 million Americans' problems, but you better believe the energy from the top sets the standard all the way down. I've run enough organizations to know. It is a truth that just runs so true. Other than that, Mayor Pete, I am not impressed, man. Let's see you back in action, getting yelled at, just cowering and not having anything to say when all you could have done just to save your own face, just for your supporters who have donated to your campaign, when I can't even get donations. And look at the hard work I'm doing. Look how I would have responded to that constituent and made her feel loved after she just had cornered me. Although you got plowed. They say you're smart, Mayor. I don't see it.
Keith, you sort of were, your eyes were opening wide.
I'm shocked. I just saw this for the first time, and that's in South Bend.
Yes.
Look at that. Look at that. We're going to back that up. Look at her. Look at her. She's like totally, they're just so uncomfortable with what they just witnessed. And it's very uncomfortable because you have someone, they look at us like we don't have any value, like we're beneath them. That's why I call them condescending candidates. They confused the hell out of us to start with, and then after we're confused, they got us all whatever. They made us mad about things that don't matter. In the meantime, if we were just going for the new world, we would go into a place where we wouldn't see racism anywhere, where we have income for all, where we have health care for all. No. We can't get that because we're too busy arguing about things that just don't matter, things that we never have the hope to solve in this very, very, very flawed environment. So the only hope you'd ever have is to get to the new environment where you can solve those issues, because we are not putting and or taking care of humanity. So then humanity is not on the agenda. You can't have a system of greed and take care of humanity. That's a fact. That is a fact. All you can do is get close to the best you can get. And we got there. Capitalism of the American system, the best in the world for getting us in a greedy system to a certain high point, it's there. This is as far as you're ever going to get on that system. It's clear as day. They actually continued sticking with this system overdue, in my opinion, for a good 2 decades, just to see if it would juice, just to see if it would still milk something and still produce. But it's not. It isn't. You see, you can pull away from some regulations, pull back, and you can pull some more cash back, like kind of like what Trump did, get the GDP coming back up again. But, Trump pulled all of his tricks. He's moving on to a new campaign slogan. It's no longer Make America Great Again. He's done all of his work. Now it becomes Keep America Great Again. So he's done now. We're not nearly done. We've got so much work to do. And if this is the great America we all envision, now it's just a matter of keeping it great. We got real problems, because this right here is a scary world. It's a civil war environment where Americans are at each other's throats. If there were clear battle lines, there would already be firing and gunshots and explosions. If there was clear battle lines that you can go into the enemy territory, we would already be in war. That's the kind of way they are putting us at each other's throats. So we got to get smarter about this. We got to be brighter. We got to do things with love, or we're never going to get to the promised land. Here's Mayor Pete.
Keith, you sort of were, your eyes were opening wide.
I'm shocked. I just saw this for the first time, and that's in South Bend.
Yes.
This is, I think, going back to the conversation I was having with Governor Rendell. It's just that African Americans are not a monolithic community.
Okay, we don't need their. Let's just back this up a little bit for the images. Her image of looking just so uncomfortable and shocked. And the one that I really want to see here, and we're just going to back it up a bit more, not because we love yelling, but because we're just looking at Mayor Pete. You got to wonder what's going through the guy's mind. He wants to be your next president. And so do I. I really wonder, because if he could do my job, if he could do the job like what I'm talking, well, I guess we can get over the fact that he's a bit grandiose in the sense that he wants to be president at all. I mean, who wants to freaking be president? Especially if you're not going there to actually do something that matters. And when I say matters, I mean monumentally matters. Otherwise, why the hell are you trying to be president? I wouldn't be trying to be president just for that. Oh, no, folks. Why do you think I'm here? Oh, you think I'm here just because I want to be. I keep telling you, I thought you knew this. The condescending candidates are there. They're already there. They've always been there. They always will be there. The reason why I'm here is because we need monumental change with careful stewardship of our lives, that we want to continue living and have the dream that was promised to us. No, that's what this is about. So we're on right now talking about Mayor Pete because of what happened today. He's not the only one. I also watched Amy, what is her name, Klobuchar or something. There's so many of these candidates. I never even heard of them before now. And I would learn them. If they were talking like me, I would actually do everything I could to support them, and I wouldn't have had to come into the race. Well, now it's too late. I'm in it. I've got supporters, and I'm dedicated. I am here to win it. And I really feel that. Get me near these guys. Go ahead. Just get me near them. And just watch what happens, because then the fire lights up under me. These guys don't have any of that special recipe. They don't have it because they're not passionate about nothing. They couldn't pull it out. They would feel ridiculous if they did. It's so fake, And the people deserve better than that. Especially since we're in dying times, really. Even we don't see it because of all the lies. We're at the very, very tricky precipice in time because we have to make this change. And if we don't, then we'll never... Here's the two big things I say. We'll never get a chance to do this kind of change like we have now. Again, especially if someone other than Donald Trump wins, then forget about it for sure. And if Donald Trump wins, well, then we have a whole nother set of problems, which forget about it for sure for another reason. So the idea behind all of this is, folks, are you ready for real humanity, loving and living with care and value and purpose? The question about this is, are you ready for a world where we put each other first and we go into a new technological development that we've been just putting off? And remember, the things I talk about, only I talk about, so it's not like I have the advantage of all these people who have been studying it. They're so lost. They're not talking about any of this stuff. So we're going to do that. And ultimately, we're going to just keep taking it until we get to the finish line. It's a lot of hard work. And I've been working my butt off each day. I have to run out. I've got so many things I have to do. And then I come and I check the major news because I have to keep up on that. And then I have to check and see where we are in our campaign. I have to update the campaign. I have to update the website. I have to set up for the show that comes in at 9 p.m. Today I did 2 shows, or maybe 3. I don't even know at this point. And yesterday I did a couple of shows, and then we spoke downtown. We did our announcement. Oh yeah, and I'm the editor. I have to do all the editing. By the way, I have to also work a job aside from this. And, there's also other things. Guys, where are you? Hello? I'm telling you what, I'm sticking in it, but the only thing I'm going to do is continue to get louder and more loud. Because the more that I don't see people responding, the more I'm going to dig in. You think I've used even a little inch of my energy? You haven't seen shit. I'll see you guys tomorrow.